Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're seeing my face or hearing my voice. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here with day 148 of our Let's Grow annual challenge. Today we are on the third step of the growing process, which is organized options. I'm starting to just call this one options because O for growing is options, stands for options. What the heck do I mean by options? Options are, now yesterday we defined our results now, our current situation. Where are we at right now with respect to the mental growth area that we're trying to improve? Where am I at with my ants? And I started to brainstorm my list of my top 20 ants, and then I'll combine them to determine what are my top 10 worst automatic negative thoughts. And then throughout the rest of the process, I am finding a way to replace them and eliminate them by replacing them with positive thoughts. So today we're going to use a tool that we use every month and we talk about every month, and that is how the 9 different areas and aspects of our life in the life framework that we're using for this year's challenge interact with one another. And this is a list of them, but this is what they really look like when they interact with one another. I drew this for one of my clients a couple years ago now, and I've used it ever since because it so clearly depicts how our different areas and aspects of our life really interact with one another. They all impact one another directly and indirectly. And that's what that graphic kind of demonstrates and the discussion that we had about that. So today what we're going to do as our action item is we're going to think about and brainstorm options by considering, and I do this in my notebook every time, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution, communication, and confidence. And then I think about how does my mental health, my mental thoughts, my mental well-being, my mental growth impact each of those different areas and aspects of my life? And how do each of them impact my thoughts, my beliefs, my reactions and actions and behaviors based on how they interact with one another? And so we're going to use that as our trigger too. We forgot to talk about thought triggers yesterday. I'll try to squeeze them in before the end of the month, or I'll talk about them sometime this year for sure. How are we going to use that to brainstorm options? And we always like to brainstorm at least 10 options. Why 10? Because that gets us over the hump of thinking that there's only 2 or 3 possible ways we can deal with any situation or any area of our life, and makes us get more creative, open our minds, and think of other possibilities. And sometimes, and what I love about brainstorming is sometimes the things are so far-fetched, you know you're never going to do them. But combining different ideas and having those far-fetched ideas sometimes shows us that there is a slightly different version of that that's totally feasible and doable. So any questions about this, hit me up. You know, we've gone through this framework, what's the 5th month, May. So we've gone through it 4 times before in the Let's Grow Annual Challenge private Facebook group page, Guide 2. There is a write-up about this, Trinity's story continuing throughout the whole growing process this month. We're using her as our example. And then mine, I haven't done mine yet, so I can't share it with you yet, but I will be looking at the interaction between all of the different areas and aspects of the life framework and how that helps me brainstorm and come up with ideas that I could consider options for filling the gap between where I am and where I want to be. How can I take and go from where I am right now, results now yesterday, to my goal that I set for myself 2 days ago? That gap is what we're trying to fill with the different options. So I'll think about that, and maybe I'll share a couple in the comments below. Any questions, you know what to do. Just ask, and I will help you in the best way I possibly can. And if I don't know the answer, like I always say, I will find you and hook you up with the person or the thing that will answer your question. All right, have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye. Of course, you have a slow connection.